Early in their life cycle as a console developer, Nintendo found much of their success in platformers, or variations of that genre. The continued popularity, both cultural and critical, of titles like Donkey Kong and Super Mario Bros. Proves that fact. However, while others continued to sow seeds in this fertile genre, Nintendo instead decided to branch out and experiment with other niches of games and gameplay, a practice the company is still well known for today. Their developers tried their hands at genres like action and adventure, tinkering with different mechanics and level design. 1986's The Legend of Zelda was the result of one such experiment, and the adventure held within its code pushed the NES and its cartridge to their limits. Other designers within Nintendo's halls, specifically the development team at their R&D1 division, were equally ambitious, and that studio decided that they wanted to carve themselves a place in the action genre. Their title, however, would have a new spin and combine several parts of other titles into something completely unique, heralding the birth of an entire new subgenre. The designers borrowed the fluid platforming and two-dimensional side-scrolling from Mario to use as their base, and added to it the fast-paced run-and-gun gameplay of Contra and the adventure and item collection of The Legend of Zelda. The fruit of their labors was a concept known as Space Hunters, a project that eventually adopted the title Metroid, a portmanteau of the words Metro and Android. The game was shepherded through development by legendary producer Gunpei Yokoi. Yokoi's design partner, Satoru Okada, directed the title, and relative newcomer Yoshio Sakamoto acted as an artist and designer on the game. Makoto Kano created the scenario behind the game, and the world he developed was heavily influenced by pieces of horror and science fiction. Metroid specifically drew from the work of surrealist designer H.R. Giger, and its similarities to the film Alien are too numerous to count. Finally, composer Hip Tanaka, known for his previous work on Kid Icarus, Duck Hunt, and Balloon Fight, wrote the music for the title, crafting both inspiring melodies and haunting themes for Metroid's alien landscapes. The game contains a somewhat dark and adult narrative, but portrays all of its events through a lens of innocence that wasn't dissimilar to a Saturday morning cartoon. An untold amount of time before the events of the game, a galactic federation was formed to rule the peoples of the galaxy peacefully and prosperously. All of this changed, however, when a nefarious group of space pirates began raiding Federation worlds. A war raged on for many years between the space pirates and Federation forces, until the pirates raided a scientific research vessel and stole a dangerous, unidentified life form. Fearing that the pirates would find a way to multiply and weaponize the life form, the Federation mounted several attacks against the space pirate headquarters, all of which were beaten back. As a desperate, last-ditch effort, the Federation hired an elite member of a bounty-hunting organization known as the Space Hunters to destroy the life forms and take out the space pirate leadership. This is where Samus Aran and the player come in. Admittedly not an award-worthy backstory, but it served its purpose to add context to the gameplay. Most interestingly, this story was never told in-game. It was all setup, found only in the manual. The only narrative given in-game is a sentence at the beginning and another at the end. Landing on Zebes, the player is dropped into the title's overworld with little to no direction. Their only instructions were given through clever level design and smart choices in the color palette. Like The Legend of Zelda before it, various items were hidden throughout the map that upgraded Samus's power suit and gave the player new weapons and abilities to play with. These included missiles, an infinite jump named the Screw Attack, and a transformation called the Morph Ball, all of which opened up new areas for Samus to explore. Zebes was split into 5 main areas: the opening zone Brinstar, an underground chasm called Norfair, the hideouts controlled by bosses Ridley and Kraid, and Torian, the lair of the mysterious Mother Brain. Access to the latter was only given upon the defeat of the aforementioned Ridley and Kraid, requiring the player to delve into the deepest and darkest parts of the map before confronting the leader of the space pirates. The world of Metroid, while bordering on samey in many areas, was still absolutely massive, too huge for most players to fully explore in their first playthrough. The Japanese version of the title mimicked its cousin, The Legend of Zelda, by giving the player 3 save slots to store their progress. In North America, however, progress was stored instead with a fairly complex password system, with a new code given to the player every time they died. Some interesting cheats and Easter eggs were hard-coded into this system, some of which laid undiscovered for years after the game's release. Once the player fought their way through Zebes and into Turian, they're faced with one final challenge: Mother Brain, the leader of the space pirates. The battle isn't easy, and even those who emerged victorious were faced with one final obstacle. Mother Brain rigged the planet to explode upon defeat, and Samus has to escape before meeting an untimely demise. Concluding the game with a race to the planet's surface was an interesting choice. Many other games would have elected just to end. Metroid had 5 different endings, all based on how quickly the player was able to complete the game. This tradition continued into future installments in the franchise, and even helped foster a popular art in gaming known as speedrunning. Some of the game's endings even gave players a glimpse into Samus's true identity, and in one final twist, Samus wasn't a man, or a cyborg, or an alien, but instead, a woman. Samus's gender was a breakthrough in an industry dominated by male protagonists. Interestingly, this decision was not one the developers settled on early in development. Samus was not always intended to be a woman, and the change was just suggested offhand, but the developers ran with the idea, and the Samus Aran gamers know and love was born. Metroid's development was completed in mid-1986 and was released in Japan in August of that year. It was released in North America just 1 year later. The title was a critical and commercial success, shipping roughly 2.73 million units worldwide and earning its spot on numerous Best of NES lists in magazines and across the web. Metroid, both the game and the franchise it spawned, are unique amongst their kin in Nintendo's library, because the world found within its cartridge used its aesthetics and music to create a feeling of true solitude. All the player had to turn to was their own wit and strength, and the story that they were playing a part in had to be discovered. These themes have remained with the franchise for almost its entire run, and have created a series of games that are equally haunting, beautiful, and alien. Hey, what's up? Lee here. I hope you enjoyed our look back at Metroid for the NES. If you did and you want more retrospectives or theories or cultural breakdowns, don't forget to subscribe to the Game Theorists for more. But if you want more breakdown right now, click one of the annotations on screen to watch another one of our episodes. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. I got a Blizzard game I gotta go research.